It was the most important day of my life, my wedding day. Months of planning were finally coming to life. The venue looked magical, filled with candles and flowers. My dress sparkled under the lights as guests arrived. Everything was going perfectly until they showed up. My brother and his wife walked in, 30 minutes late. She wore a long, elegant white dress, way too bridal. Heads turned, and whispers started spreading. I felt a pit in my stomach. Something was off, and I knew it. They walked straight to the front row without greeting us. My mom gave me a nervous glance from across the room. I forced a smile, trying not to cause a scene. My maid of honor whispered, "Is she wearing a wedding gown?" I tried to ignore it, but my joy was fading. My groom looked confused and annoyed. The photographer even paused for a second. It felt like they were trying to steal attention. This was supposed to be my moment, and it had just started slipping away. The ceremony began, but the room felt uncomfortable. Every few minutes, I caught people glancing at her dress. My brother acted like nothing was wrong. His wife smiled proudly like she was the bride. Even during our vows, she adjusted her train. Loudly, people were distracted. No one was focused on us. My joy was turning into quiet frustration. My groom squeezed my hand tightly. I could see he was equally upset. This was not how I imagined my wedding. The ceremony began, but the room felt uncomfortable. Just when we were about to cut the cake, they stood up. My brother tapped a glass for attention. Everyone fell silent, expecting a sweet toast. But instead, he smiled and said, "We have news." His wife shouted, "We're having a baby." Gasps filled the room, and not the good kind. Some guests cheered, some looked horrified. My heart sank instantly. They hijacked my wedding to make it about themselves. I was frozen in disbelief. My mom stood up and said, "This isn't the time for that." My maid of honor muttered, "What the hell?" Even the DJ stopped the music in shock. I looked at my husband, his jaw clenched. A few guests got up and left. Some applauded awkwardly, out of politeness. I wanted to scream, but I held it in. My hands were shaking, my face flushed with anger. They stole my spotlight without shame. I knew I had to do something. I walked up to them calmly, heart pounding. "You really thought this was appropriate?" I asked. My sister-in-law shrugged. "It's our moment too," my brother added. "Don't be selfish." My husband stepped in and said, "This is unbelievable." Guests watched silently, unsure what would happen next. My dad looked away, embarrassed. My joy had been stomped on by my own family. I whispered, "You two need to leave." That's when the real drama started. My sister-in-law gasped, "You're kicking out a pregnant woman." My brother shouted, "You're overreacting." My groom said, "You made this day about you, now leave." A few guests clapped in support. Others looked completely shocked. My mom tried to calm everyone down, but the damage was done. I turned around and walked off stage. Tears filled my eyes, but I felt strangely empowered. I had stood up for myself. They left in a storm of anger and muttered curses. The energy in the room changed instantly. People started coming up to me with hugs and apologies. One aunt said, "You handled that with such grace." My groom held my hand tightly and kissed my forehead. I forced a smile, trying to enjoy the rest of the night. We cut the cake, finally, but the magic of the moment was gone. I'll always remember that pain. They took something I can never get back. Asterisk. The next day, my phone was flooded with messages. Half my relatives supported me. The other half said I was dramatic. My brother posted on Facebook about how I ruined their joy. He claimed I kicked out a pregnant woman just for wearing white. He left out the part about hijacking my wedding. People were taking sides like it was a courtroom battle. I stayed quiet, no public posts. But inside, I was breaking. How did this become so toxic? My therapist said, "You are protecting your boundaries." My husband kept reminding me, "You did the right thing." But part of me still felt guilty. I started questioning myself. Was I really the villain in all this? I rewatched the wedding video. That moment, their announcement felt so intentional. Their smirks said it all. They planned this. That guilt began to fade into anger. Asterisk. My family was split down the middle. Some relatives stopped talking to me. "You embarrassed your brother," they said. I didn't care anymore. My peace meant more than fake family smiles. I started cutting off toxic conversations. My husband stood by me through it all. Together, we decided to move forward. But the scars would always remain. Weddings reveal true colors, I guess. A month later, he texted me. "We want to move in with you," he wrote. I laughed out loud. After all that, he wanted to live in our home. No apology, no accountability, just entitlement. I replied, "Absolutely not." He said, "You've changed." I said, "I've grown." That was the last time we spoke. I started focusing on myself again. Took a break from social media, focused on our honeymoon and marriage. I learned how to set boundaries without guilt. My husband and I talked through everything. He told me, "You're stronger than you think." I finally started to believe it. The pain didn't vanish, but it dulled. Love healed what family tried to break. I chose peace over chaos. Sometimes, I wonder if I overreacted. But then I remember her smile during the announcement. That wasn't a mistake, it was a power play. I think back to the silence after I asked them to leave. It was deafening, but powerful. I claimed my day back. I don't regret it anymore. I stood up for myself when no one else would. That's what real growth looks like. And I'm proud of that woman. So was I the Hole for choosing myself on my wedding day? For removing toxic people from my life? For demanding respect? I don't think so. Some people will never see your worth, but that doesn't mean you stop shining. That day wasn't perfect, but I was powerful, and no one can take that from me, not even family.